Guys, we're going to start real soon. Technology. Gotta love it. How are you guys doing so far today? Let's give it about 2 more minutes, then we'll get started. 6 o'clock. All right, so real quick, let's check in. You guys let me know where you're streaming from, and then also just tell me one thing that you're grateful for today. Just one thing you're grateful for. Hey there, Kimber Camp. Hey there, Albert Smith Jr. Just checking in. Where you guys checking in from? And just tell me one thing that you're grateful for today. Just type it in the chat box for me. Yeah, grateful for my family too. Chadron, North Carolina. Grateful for life. Amen. Same here. Anybody else grateful for anything? All right, well, let's just dive right into it. My name is Brandon. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is my first live stream like this. I just wanted to see how things would go with it. All right, so if you guys have any questions, just any general questions about keyboard, about music, about anything regarding playing piano in church, or whatever the case may be, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Or if you guys just want to sit and watch me play, that's fine as well. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have. Just want to share any knowledge that you guys want to take in. Let's change keys. Let's go to C. Anybody have any questions about anything? I mean, I'll just sit here and play if y'all just want to just get your worship on. That's fine with me, but any questions? If you're trying to figure out how to grow in your gift here, from a musician to a minister of music. Albert, it all depends on the situation, man. I've been playing for a while. I started in a very small church with a handful of people. I think it's about 20, 25 people there. I had my little Casio keyboard, and I just started as a simple musician. And as you begin to go throughout your journey, and you kind of just grow up and you step into these leadership roles. The biggest difference between being just a musician and then a minister of music, I would say, really is your mindset and your ability to lead others. I think we all know that being a minister of music is quite a task, because you're in charge of really shaping and molding the music ministry of your church. So it's important that the things that you're doing with your choir or your praise team, your youth choir, whatever the case may be, it's really important that it lines up with the vision of the pastor. So it's really important that your spirit kind of connects with your pastor's spirit. And then also, at the end of the day, what you want to do is make sure you're pleasing God. So sometimes, our own personal things of what we want to do kind of get in the way of what God wants us to do. So if you're trying to step out from being just a simple musician to really becoming a minister of music, make sure you know your theory. I want to make sure you know how to teach parts. So if you're doing a song like Grateful, so if you're teaching parts, you're singing, grateful, grateful, grateful is our God. It's really important that you understand the harmonies, the melodies, and then just understanding how to play that as an accompaniment while understanding what's happening with the vocals. So just getting into knowing the actual material of the song. Don't know how to really dive into it like that, but really your mindset and your attitude of how you approach the ministry makes you a good minister of music. All right, Lino, I hope I'm saying it right, or maybe Lino. What type of passing chord do you use? So it all depends on where you're trying to go. What's up, Sherry? How's it going? So when we say passing chord, your passing chord is going to take you to the chord that you're trying to go to. So if I play something like, let's play in the key of C. If we're doing How Great Is Our God, trying to get to the 6, we're trying to get to the 6. What I like to use is, anytime you're trying to get to another chord, we can use what's called a secondary dominant. Now, when you hear the word dominant, I want you to think of the 5th. The dominant is the 5th of your key. So if we're in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I say the secondary dominant, I want you to think, what is the 5th of the chord that you're trying to go to? So hopefully you're sitting down at your keyboard right now, but if we're doing How Great Is Our God, you can walk it down, C, G, A. So we're trying to get to the A. So ask yourself, what is the 5th of A? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this E can serve as a secondary dominant. So if I play an E major chord, and hopefully you know how to construct a major chord, you go 2 whole steps. So start here, whole step, and then go a whole step, half step. So whole step, half step, that's a major chord. So I can play this E major chord to take me to the A minor. And that's what I'm trying to get. So how great is our God. Go to your E. Sing with me, how great Now, of course, the more you play, you can kind of add something like this. I love doing this, where it's like a sharp 5 right there. This is the regular 5. That's a sharp 5. That's 5, sharp 5. And then you have your flat 7 right there. A natural 7 would be 4, 5, 6, 7. So the natural 7 would be right here. So flat 7 means you bring it down. Okay, so we would have E with that sharp 5, flat 7, and this thing right here, you have E. So F sharp would be the 9. So you can call this the sharp 9 if you want to. But the way I think of it is like this. C, D with a G on top. It's like your C2 chord. There's a C, there's your C2. C2 right there, and then just put that, the A flat or that G sharp, we can call that for the sake of it being an E chord. So I have that right there. So, how great is our God, right here. Sing with me, how great. Okay, so something like that. Yeah, you can do an E dominant 7. Do something like that. But if you want to spice it up a little bit, you can add, move that 5th. You do something like that. Do something like that if you want to. Something like that. But whatever you're trying to do, just make sure it makes sense melodically. Don't get so caught up in all the fancy stuff. It needs to make sense to your vocalist. So if your praise and worship leader is trying to go somewhere, you need to make sure that you're behind them. So like I like to tell all musicians, it doesn't matter how long you've been playing. I mean, you may have a ton of chops, but if you're doing too much and the praise and worship leader can't effectively lead worship, then you're doing way too much, and you may sound really good to yourself, like, and other musicians, but that stuff is aggravating to the singers. So don't do anything that distracts from the actual worship service. Okay, hope that answers that question. And then how can you spice up your playing? It literally just depends on the context that you're in. I mean, if you're doing some churchy stuff, you can have some tritones in there. Something like that. Yeah, Sherry, or wait until your music break the jam. I agree with that. So if it's a band break, then you can do some fun stuff. What's that song I used to do? Yeah. Good combo. Anybody else have another question? And I'll just sit here and play, unless you guys have another question. But you can also use a flat 7 before the E7. Yeah, that's true. So let's go back to E. So your flat 7, I mean, you can put it on whatever you would like. If you want to do like a 7, 3, 6 pattern, then you can do that C chord, and then when you play that B, it's a diminished chord, but I think of it as your 2. So here's 1, here's 2. So if I do a 2 there, Then I have my B, and this A serves as the 7, my flat 7 there. So when I have that, it's not really a full diminish. It's like a diminished 7. Like there's 1, that's diminished, that's 6. So if you have that there, just call it a B diminished 7. So you can do a pass. How great is our God? Right here. Sing with me, how great is our God. You can walk it down if you want to. I will sing how great. And all I did there was just my A minor. And it's an A minor chord, but I'm adding this 9. You call it 9. So there's 1, 5, 1, or think of it as 8, 9. Think of it like that, or you can think of it as a sus 2, because it's the second one of A. But we have, how great is our God? Sing with me, how great. So A, E, G, B, C, E. Now take everything down a half step. Keep going. That's an A flat minor 9. And we're trying to get to this G minor 9. And when you're trying to resolve it, just play that C. So C, do the same chord, but drop that F down to an E. So again, you have just like that. Then you go to your 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just your F. There's your major 7 with a 9. You can spell it like that if you want to. But I always keep it super simple. Just let the words minister. So how great. Let me get a string going. Yeah, there we go. How great is our God. Sing with me, how great is our... You can move right here. Always sing how great. To the 5, how great is our God. Do it again. What type of altered extended chord to use on the progression 7 through 6? Honestly, what that pass I just showed you, if I do this, I don't try to get any fancier than that. So that's your B diminished 7. I mean, this is about as fancy as you can get right here, without it sounding too crazy. This E, again, you have that, there's a sharp 5, and then that right there is a sharp 9. So you can think of it like that, but to make it easier to remember, I like to think of it as an augmented chord. And for an augmented chord, you have your major position, and then you simply just raise the 5th. So that'd be a C augmented right there. So when I do that E, you have an E augmented. And then when you add that D and G on top of it, you get that sharp 9. You have your flat 7 there. I mean, it gives it a nice full sound. So yeah, I try not to do anything crazier than that. Christmas album. Maybe. I have to sit down and start planning for that. It's already October now. Alright. Tritone likes to resolve a half step to use the passing chord. I'm not understanding the question. Let's see. Tritone likes to resolve a half step to use the passing chord. I mean, I guess you could, depending on. Here, let's change this. Like I like when we talk about tritone, I like E flat, or A flat is good. I mean, it just depends. Like if we're doing, let's say I'm going to the 4, so that's D flat. I mean, I guess you can go. I don't know if that's what you're asking. Tritones resolve. Yeah, can you? I don't know if that's answering what you're asking. Leno, did that answer your question? I'm not sure if that answered it. Hey there, Donisha. How's it going? Tritone in a song, like as I'm guessing as the deer. Is that you talking about? Is that what you're talking about? As the deer? Let's do this. Honestly, with tritones, I would use that in something that's like real churchy. If it's something like As the Deer, let's see, what's a good key? Let's see. Here, I'm putting this in A flat. I think Sherry or Donisha could sing something in A flat. So here's how I would approach it. All right, here we go. All right, there's a tritone right there. Yeah, you can do that. So maybe we could put it there before we go to that 3. So let's try it there. You are right here. I mean, you could do that, but to me, it just kind of, I don't know, maybe I don't know the proper placement of it, but I wouldn't use a tritone in a song like that. But if you did, I guess that would be a good place for it. When to add passing chords. Honestly, when we talk about adding passing chords, just do it when it makes sense. If you're doing something and it's taken away from the flow of the Holy Spirit, if it's stepping on the toes of your bass guitar player, or your rhythm guitar, or your acoustic guitar, or the person that's playing organ, or the person that's leading worship, if it's stepping on their toes, you are doing too much. Some musicians may disagree with me because they have chops. They want to, like, they want to do that stuff, but I've just always been of the mindset, it's not about the music, it's about the worship. So the music is just used to enhance the worship. So, as far as when to add passing chords, do it when it makes sense, like logically, and when you feel it, just in your spirit. Do it when it makes sense. Like I could play the song, as the deer panteth for the water, da, 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 da. Now, you would have to put one here. I mean, that's a really good spot because we're switching from a major feel, like that sounds real major, to going to a minor chord. So we're going to the 6 there. So in order to get to the 6, we talked about it earlier, you can use that secondary dominant. Well, when you hear the word dominant, think of the 5th of the key that you're trying to go into. So what is the 5th? If I'm trying to play this F minor chord, what is the 5th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where we can put a passing chord C. So we can say, right here. So that C is just a nice pivot. It sets me up for that. Now, if you want to add more to it, you can walk up. Okay, so I just did C. And then I treated it like I'm in the key of C now. So there's 1, 2, without that A. So just like that. C. that D, it's a D minor without that A. So yeah. So again, don't get all caught up as you continue to grow in your gift. Don't get caught up in trying to do all the super fancy stuff that you're seeing on YouTube, or if you're in one of those communities where there's a lot of nice musicians around. Don't get caught up in trying to do all that. Do what makes sense. Do what enhances the ministry, and I promise you, you will grow in your gift. And just to share a personal testimony of mine, growing up, I didn't start playing the keyboard until I was 12. I think I was 12 or 13. How do you change the key? All right, we'll get to that in one moment. But I started playing when I was 12, and then some of my other friends, they had been playing a little bit longer than me, but they were the same age. But I mean, they were doing all and like the churchy stuff. Like they were doing stuff like this, and like I had no idea on how in the world that they were able to do that. So I used to honestly just sit there and be jealous of how they played. And I was like, man, I want to play just like them. And as I had that mindset, like I wasn't seeing any growth. But as I began to mature, just in my, walk with God or whatever, and I got to a point to where I was like, okay, God, let me be the musician that you would have me to be. Let me play the way that you want me to be. And then that's when I really just started to grow in my gift. So, I encourage you to continue to grow and try to learn different things. Have a nice, large repertoire of chords and licks and runs and just all that fun stuff. But don't try to play like anybody else. Don't do that. So, yeah, that's just that there. So how do you change the key? All right, rule number 1 is this: know your scale for every key. Know your scale for every key. If you don't know like, you want to be able to quickly go through your keys because you want to identify the number system. And you hear me guys saying, 1, 5, 2, and 3. If you're not sure what the number system is, that's just referring to the key, the scale degree, do, re, mi, fa, sol. Like that's like the core way you would say it. But in like music ministry, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And regardless of what key you're in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to sound the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's go to E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like they all have the same exact sound to it. So when it comes to changing keys, rule number 1 is know how to play in every key. And if you want to do that, just stop using the transpose button. If you're still using that now, it's okay. Like we all went through that stage or whatever. But once you decide to really get out of transpose, just commit to it. And then that way you have no other choice but to learn how to play in all your keys. But so if I wanted to change a key, let's say I was playing the song, let's do Thank You, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Now I'm going to get ready to go from C to D flat. I just want to thank you, Lord. And I just went up to this. Okay. So whenever I'm trying to go to a new key, I simply play the 4 of the new key that I'm in, and then I play the 5 of the new key that I'm trying to go to. So if I'm playing C and I want to go to D flat, what's the 4 of D flat? So play that chord, and then what's the 5 of D flat? And put it together. And that sets you up. So how, thank you, Lord. Let's come out. I just want to thank you, Lord. Going up. There's the 4 over 5 right there. Thank you, Lord. Get ready to go up. I just want to thank. I'm getting ready to go to D now. I'm going up a half step. So think, what is the 4? The 4 of D is G. So play a G major chord. And then what's the 5 of D? A. Right there. So yeah, anytime you're trying to go to a new key, or you're just trying to resolve what you're currently in, play the 4 over 5 of the key that you're trying to go to. So let's do something. Let's go from C, and then let's just jump up to E flat. Let's try that. All right, so let's go. Get ready to go up. So it gives a real solid foundation. Like the singer, the lead worship leader, they can hear that scale just from that right there. That 5, 1, 5, 1. Okay. But yeah, that's it. So just remember 4 over 5. 4 over 5. 4 in your right hand, 5 in your left hand. 4 over 5. And you can practice that. Go to D flat. Let's go to D. Go to E flat. 4. Right there. Let's go to E. Go to F. F sharp. Let's go to G. A flat. A. B flat. And then let's go to B. And then go back to C. Yeah. And Sherry, bridges between keys is always helpful for a vocalist. That is so true. That's why it's so important to be a mature musician, and don't just think that you doing your fancy runs is super appealing to everybody. Yeah, other musicians love it, but it's not going to help out the vocalist any. Yeah. Let's see. How to do subs. Hey there, Soleil. How to do subs, a dominant chord into progression of a 2-5-1 with a tritone. So let's go to C. If we're doing 2-5-1, there's a standard 2, there's a standard 5, and there's 1. If I'm going to put in some substitutions and let's use a tritone, then I'm going to make this 2 major and then go down to that for the G and then finish on that dominant 7 there. So again, with the tritones, that's more of like a churchy, jazzy feel. But the cool thing about it is you can set it up, and once you set up the first tritone, you're literally just moving down in half steps. So the 2, if I'm in the key of C, let's do the 2, which is D. The tritone, in case you're not aware, the tritone is the 3 and the flat 7 of what you're in. So the 3 of D would be, and let's keep going, 4, 5, 6. There's natural 7, here's flat 7. So this G flat and C is a tritone for that. But now what's also cool about these tritones is This interval serves as a tritone for two separate keys. So not only is this the tritone for D, remember the third and the flat 7, but let's flip it around. What if we call C the third and this the flat 7? What is C the third of? A flat. So you can actually do something like this. Use that A flat and then drop down a half step, F, B, and that works with G. So you see that move? I did D, G, and then finish on C. So imagine that we're in C, we're in the C right there, okay? So here's 2, here's 5, and here's 1. Now if you want to add some passing with it, we can say 2 with the alternate bass line, 5 with the alternate bass line. You see that? This works because you have the third, 1, 2, 3, the flat 7, and then finish there. So you could say like that. I hope that kind of answered your question. This has been pretty fun. I'm glad that y'all tuned in. Do you guys have any other questions? If not, I'll just play a little bit for you. Well, let me just play for you. Any suggestions for building techniques? So Zal, I hope I'm saying your name right. Can you play in every key, or are you pretty proficient in all of your keys? Yeah. So I would say if you're really proficient in all your keys, what genre of music are you really trying to focus on? Are you trying to be like gospel, like jazz? What particular genre? Gospel, yeah. Are you pretty good with playing by ear, or do you really need to use like sheet music, or like watch tutorials? Like how sharp is your ear with gospel? Not very good. All right, so that's where I would start. If you're really solid in all your keys, okay, class, I got you. Yeah, some of my friends are like that. So if you really want to try to like just get better with gospel music, man, a lot of gospel is about the feeling. And I really want you to train your ear. So I remember one of the first songs that I was trying to play, it was like, like this. So like, I remember the first time I was trying to play it, I'm like, man, I can't hear this stuff. But I want you to force yourself to sit down. I just want you to find, and don't find anything that's too crazy, too complicated. But I want you to find a song that has some basic instrumentation in it. So it has a keyboard, it has drums, bass, maybe a guitar in it. But try not to play something that has the horns, the organ, the synth. Like after a while, that stuff becomes like it's hard to kind of dissect that. But I would say just pick any song, and what I may do is try to find a song for you. I'm gonna do this again next week. Tune in again next week for me, and I'll have some songs that I can send out to you. But literally, just find a song and sit down and go through it piece by piece. And I know you're thinking, well, I can't play it by ear. I don't know how to do that. Like, yeah, so like literally just find a song, and I want you to be able to break apart that song and be able to analyze what's happening in it. So what are the drums doing? What are the vocals doing? Like, if you pay attention to the vocals, they actually sing. If it's 3-part harmony, those vocals actually sing the chord that you're supposed to be playing most of the time. Now, sometimes it's more complex, but again, like I was saying earlier, don't get all caught up in the, like, I don't know how to like, we do all this stuff right here. Don't get all caught up in these alternate chords and all that. I don't want to say nonsense, but all that super tough stuff. Like literally, if you can do this and you have, like you can do this. Like I remember that being a classical exercise that I had. Like if you understand the theory behind it, you understand the tonic and the dominant and the subdominant. Like if you understand that part, then you already have half the battle won. I would just encourage you to sit down and pick apart a song and literally go through it note by note. I would love to probably just kind of have like a one-on-one with you and kind of give you the process of how I would go about trying to do it. But Zal, give me a gospel song that you like or that you would like to know how to play. What's one that you can think of right now? And then Lino, how do you play Lord, I Come to You? All right, so who is, I'm not sure who that's by, Lord, I Come to You. Lord, I come. All right, Lord, I Come to You. Is that, let's see. I'm seeing something here. Okay. All right. So do this for me. Lord, I Come to You. Do me a favor. Type in the artist for that. Type in the artist for that. All right. So going back to I Surrender All. I Surrender All is actually a song that you can find in a hymn book. So if you already know how to read music, like you're classically trained, I would encourage you to find a hymnal to where it actually breaks it down for you. But let me put it in D flat for you, because in the hymn book that I have, it's in D flat. So whenever you're trying to play, can I always use progression? Okay. When you're playing that song, understand what's being sung. The melody is. So if you know that's the melody, when you're playing, the notes that are being sung are in that chord. So if I see I'm playing an F, there's maybe 3 options I have here. If I'm in the key of D flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, I know that I can play my 1 chord. I know I can play the 3 chord, and I can play the 6 chord. So which one sounds like it should be the right chord? If it's at the very beginning, let's play the 1. Okay, so even though I'm voicing it D flat, F, A flat, you could put any kind of arrangement here. If you can play, you can do something like this, have a different inversion. This is a rootless voicing, so if you have a bass guitar, they're carrying that D flat, but you have your 1, right? So 1. When I get here, well, I feel like it needs to go to the 5. Right there, right? But you could also play, what else has an E flat with it? You can play a 2. Is there anything else with E flat? A diminished. So when you go through and play it, you can start to put in those different chords to kind of substitute it in. But if I go here, here's how I would play it. Alright, now that's just the basic way. You could have some other voicings. And see, I was just choosing chords that would fit with the note that I'm doing. But again, there's nothing wrong with doing 1, 5, 6, 4, 5, 1. I see, that's a ton of moving, but the basic concept was I'll surrender 2, then 5, and then right here, I'm on the 1, I'm on the 3, I'm on the 6. So yeah, getting familiar with substitutes is very important. I mean, yeah and no, it just depends on the sound that you're trying to have. If I'm playing, I could have done that 1, 2, 3, 4. It just all depends on your vocalist, or if you're the person singing, do whatever that fits with it, but don't do anything that's so distracting that it's taken away from the actual worship service. So I would do, like on that bridge, 2, 5, stay on the 5. You can go to the 6 here if you want to. 6, 2, 5. And then here, and that's just a turn. That's a common turn, especially in gospel. You do some kind of walking, do something that takes you to the 6. So a very common pattern is 7, 3, 6. So I would do I surrender all. So that's literally right here, 7. Remember that 2 that we did earlier? 2 over the 7. And you can just do this to kind of give it a sharp, let's see what's that, sharp 9, flat 5 feel. Yeah. So remember that augmented chord that we did earlier? I just have F, E flat, A, D flat, F, and then that takes me to the 6. Okay. And then walk it down, 6, 5, and that's like that's your 2. It's your major 2, but you have that inverted there. So 6, 5, flat 5. Just put your major 2 there. So 6, 5, then do your major 2. That's very common. And then do a diminished here. So I surrender all. And that's the same chord, I'm just filling it out. Add the 9 in there. Okay. Lino, can you always use the 6-2-5-1 to end a song? No problem, you're welcome. I mean, you could 6-2-5-1. That's a common cadence. 6-2-5-1. But again, it depends on the song. Like the song may call for you to do 6 and then 5 and then 1. So in that case, you could do 6, 6, 2, 5, 1, or you could say 6, 2, major 2, and anytime I do my cadence, even though I'm saying 5, remember how earlier I said you can do the 4/5 to take you to your next key? So that's what I would do. But it all depends on the song. I mean, I guess you could do 6-2-5-1, but the song may call for you to do something else. It could ask you to do 6-1. So you could be like that. It's gonna be flat. I hope this has been beneficial to you guys. If you have another question, go ahead and ask away. I think we'll be on here for a few more minutes, and then I'll play for you, and then we will, I guess, go ahead and call it a night. You're very welcome. Lord, I come to you. Okay, the one I see, Lord, I come to you, are the words, let my heart be changed, renewed, flowing from the grace that I found in you. Lord, I've come to know the weakness I see in me will be stripped away by the power of your love. Is that the one you're referring to? Thank you, Mary. All right. So, Lino, let's do this. It's 7 o'clock now. If you guys would like to, next week, we'll do the same thing Thursday at 6 o'clock. And I can show you, I'll pull up the song and just do it live. And I can show you how I'll break it down. That way, Zal, I hope I'm saying that right, Zal can kind of see how I approach analyzing the music. And then we can just kind of learn it together. Is that cool with you? Awesome. Perfect. Okay. All right, well, I'm just gonna stay here and play for a few more minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it was beneficial to you guys. If you know anybody else that would be kind of cool to come out and just hang with us, ask away, then we can do that. And I'm thinking maybe it may be a little more fun to have a Zoom. I don't know, but I just wanted to see how this was going to go. I think it went pretty good. But so next week I'll have that song ready for you guys. And then Zal, was there another song that you wanted to learn? Like, I'll put that one down on the list. But was there another one that you wanted to get besides I Surrender All? Amazing Grace? Okay. What key do you want Amazing Grace in? Oh, no problem. In fact, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and create a Zoom session for next week. Let's do this. The key of G. Okay. Then we do our 736. So let's do this. I'm gonna schedule a new one. In fact, do this for me. I'm gonna put my email address here. No more. Okay. All right, let's do this. Y'all do me a favor. Send me an email to that address there. Give me about 2 or 3 songs that you guys want to go through. And what I'll do is I'll email you guys a Zoom link. And then that way, I think it'll be easier to kind of talk and communicate. And we can just chop it up. want you to play like how God wants you to play. I appreciate it though. But yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it. We'll get it. Yeah, just make sure you take that email down. Send me an email and we'll link up, okay? We'll link up and we'll do a Zoom. Sounds good. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you were blessed by it, and y'all have a great night.